Hello, you are welcome once again to another class, live class, and we are coming live from the city of Onitsha in Anambra State. So we had to delay by 30 minutes to allow our Muslim peers, to attend to prayers. So hopefully they are back now and they will be joining us. So let's see where we are joining from. I can see Mohammed Buka from Borno State. I see Rabiu Mohammed Abdullahi from Maiduguri, Borno State. Mane Abdullahi, Kano State. Awal Adam, FCT. Adamu Kanawa, Gombe State. Okay, Ibrahim Buji, good afternoon. And Emmanuel Awondoka from Benue State. Abdul Rahman Gafe from Castena State. Okay. Plateau. Where is this Plateau? I just saw. It's gone. It's scrolling fast. Okay. Jamila Umar from Plateau State. Mohammed Kabir, Castena State. Uthman Tahir, Abuja. Amiwo Kingsley, Rivers. Con Jasper from Port Harcourt. Jasper, Port Harcourt, yeah. Aliu Musa, Borno State. I'm seeing a lot of people from Borno State today. Yeah. Amiwo Kingsley, yeah, from Rivers State. And Kabiru Umar, Zamfara State. Okay. Ibrahim Ubaji from Bauchi State. Someone from Ekulobia. Who is that? Noble King from Ekulobia, Anambra State. I'm quite close to you in terms of location. So I have Suleiman. Just missed Suleiman. Which one again? Okay. We have, okay. I have Sani Bello, Kaduna State, Golden TV Hausa from Kano State, Abdusalam Mohammed, Bauchi State, Abie Dafa, Port Harcourt, Kevin Olufosu, Lagos State, Mohammed Usman, Yobe State. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay, we just keep running. I see Kano. Oh, I'm seeing someone from Delta State. Safety Caro from Delta State. Nice. Nwankwo Shibede Kingsley, Enugu State. Gabriel Chukwuemeka from Newi. Chukwuemeka, Newi. Okay, Abdamu Abdullahi, Bauchi State. All right, so I think by now our peers will be back. So we have to get right into it. I'll need to share my screen again. Let me share the entire desktop just so I don't have to move around between one window and the other. So I'll first stop. Okay. I'll stop the share first. Stop. And share again. Okay, I just shared my entire desktop. Open. Yeah. JavaScript function. Yeah, that. Okay, we're good. All right. So we've been looking at the JavaScript series. I delayed the second part of Golang because I want us to see a function in JavaScript first before we go into Golang. So this will be our concluding part on JavaScript. Yesterday, we looked at variables and how to manipulate them. We saw the for loop and some of those stuff. So there are little things we're going to look at again before we head into JavaScript function proper. So let's look at structured programming. So structured programming makes use of three main structures. We already started studying them yesterday. We'll see them. You have the sequence. Sequence is just some sequence of steps you're supposed to take. For example, hey, do this. When you are done, then do that part. And after you're done that, finally do the one over here. So that's what we mean by sequence. Every program, most structured programming follows a sequence. You get through this sequence, it gets you a value, you plug it to the next sequence, it goes like that. So that sequence is one of the things that makes your program structured, okay? And when you're doing sequence also, we have selection. Selection is all about making an alternate option, selecting an option, If this condition is met, then do this. If it doesn't meet, then do the other one. You already know what that means. Example is the if-else we studied yesterday. If this happens, take that. In fact, we studied multiple sequences, multiple options, multiple selections. At a point, we even introduced case to be able to use case to select. And then there is a loop. Everything you do in any structured program, at some point, you have to loop over data because it just program. You're not looking at the data. So you configure you do your program so that it can iterate over a number of data. It could be thousands, it could be hundreds of data. And based on all other conditions, gives you an output. So that's what structured programming looks like. And there are some things about strings. We talked about briefly yesterday, but maybe we'll take a look at it again today. I didn't discuss method in full. So there are some functions that are method, they change the behavior of, whatever it is, maybe an output, they change the behavior of the output. One example is the uppercase and lowercase. So if you have any data, you could convert to uppercase, you could convert to lowercase. Yeah, I encountered this when I was processing the application list also. I said yesterday, we use loop. I use loop to loop over 100,000 data using email as the email field, as the keyword, okay? So it's like this. I made a hash table. Hash table is empty. So take the first row, take the email address, go and look at the hash table. If the value is in the hash table, keep. If it's not in the hash table, write out the entire row in a new file, then put that person's email in the hash table, right? Then go to the second one. You go to the second row, it picks the email. You first of all look at the hash table. If the email doesn't exist in the hash table, it will write out the entire record into another file, then store the email in the hash table, right? You go to the third one. Let's actually keep going. If it picks an email and check the hash table, that email exists. It will skip that line completely. So that's a duplicate. It won't write it out in the new file because you've written it before. So even if it occurs 10 times, each time you come across, it sees that it compares it with what's on the hash table, it skips it. So in less than, let's say, maybe 5 seconds or so, within 5 seconds, I'll have a new file that have only distinct names. So initially we had, I'm not sure what it trimmed down to, but when we started sending emails, we still found out that email program composed about duplicates. I'm like, duplicate? But I took care of all the duplicates. So it happened that when I looked at it again, some people register not just twice, but they use let's say your name is Aminu at something. You use Aminu, small letter. In the second registration, you use capital letter for A. So for Python, small letter A is different from capital A. Every programming, all characters are different. Small letter A is not the same as capital letter A. They have different ASCII code. Okay, the capital A is higher, followed by the lower A. They have numbers. So it happened that, yeah, there are still people, the same email, but maybe capital. And so I had to go back and update the script again, and now converted everything to lowercase. So all email address, you first convert all of them to lowercase, then run our program again. So by that way, we're able to get the real distinct thing. So it's a nice feature to know. So in W3 schools, you can practice there. Let me just go there a bit, just show us around. And W3 schools. I said it before, it's kind of one place. If you're doing any programming, any language, you can always go there to practice and learn more about what you're studying. So let's head over to W3 schools. Okay. Yeah, I think I have it open before, but let me assume I'm just coming for the first time, okay? So I don't have this opened. Okay, let's just go to www.w3schools.com. I hit enter there. Even though in the slide, I gave you the actual link that takes you to where the strings are, but let's go through it just so you see how you can navigate. So when you get here, this is their landing page. You want to go to tutorials. And other tutorials, you have lots of language. We are learning JavaScript. So I go to say, learn JavaScript. Wait. Yeah, it opens up. We want to look at strings. You see, there are different, we have operators. We looked at operators. We looked at data types. So, but now let's look at the string part. I go to string. Yeah. Yeah. So, and here is it. Where do I have uppercase, lowercase? Go down a bit. So, JavaScript object. Uh-oh, did I miss something? Oh, that's going too fast. Let me see. I'm not sure, but oh, method. Sorry, the method. Yeah, because we use the dot notation to pick it up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's here. I can see to upper string somewhere. So go down again. Here is it. So we have JavaScript string to uppercase and lowercase. So this is a method, in a function. It's just a function that exists within a bigger one. Let's say you have a class and you create a function inside that class. That function behaves like a method. Or you create your own function. If you call it from the window, if you call window dot, whatever function you created, it's a method automatically. So let's see what happens here. Let me run it live from this place. Assuming you come down here, you see, it tells you what it is. A string is converted to uppercase to uppercase. They maintain the camel case naming convention we talked about. Each new word you start with the first one is small letter, then each new word have a capital letter. That way, you spell it out. So let's see what happened here. How let text1 equals hello world. And let text2 equals text1 dot to uppercase. You know what variable is already. Once you call text1, it means hello world because it's already stored there, so you don't have to repeat that. So let's test it. I say try it yourself. I click that and wait a bit. And here is it. Converting strings to case, right? So what we have here is hello world. You can see normal, just written out the way. Now let's run. Okay. So when I hit the try it, you see converted to hello world. What happens here? Let's go to the code and see. It just say, look at the part you want to get. It said text dot to uppercase function. That's it. That's what makes this to happen. It converts it to capital letter. So there's a lot of things with strings in almost all programming you could look at. So after I can visit that W3 page and play around most of the examples there. So returning back to slide. Okay. So let's take some exercise. I'll read this out. As I read it, I want you to think through it. What we did yesterday, try to connect it, how it will happen. Then we'll go ahead and show it in the real sense, okay? So it says, create a variable called my string and assign the following string. I am really hungry for some. That's the string. So we're going to create a variable. You know how we declare a variable. We'll add whatever it is. When we are done, we'll use the console to print it out, okay? And then we'll do another one that have to do with upper string. So let's take it one at a time. We go ahead now and create a variable. Okay. So I can use that collection we used yesterday. Yeah, you can use that. It's still part of that course. So, JavaScript. Okay, here's my JavaScript, and here is the selection.html. Let me close this part. Yeah, you know, you can run some of this code in your editor. I choose to use the console because I assume most people coming here are doing this coding for the first time. So no need of getting it complicated, right? And actually, I preview some of this thing from your, in fact, this morning, one of the students, you know, was messaged me, was it on Telegram, I can't remember, and say, hey, I found out something. You can actually preview the way, rather than going to, I think it's Zainab, yeah, Zainab is her name. Rather than go to the web page to refresh, you can actually use the live preview. Yes, it has that. There's a live preview on VS Code. I use that a lot, but not a lot really, but you know, for this course, I'll just feel we should use the console. I mean, the browser. Everybody has access to the browser because even if you don't have this VS Code, you can actually use any other thing like Coda or even Sublime Text, right? The important thing is type your code and go and view it from the browser. Okay, I'll close this part for now. I'm not writing a code, giving commands. So, and we increase the font size. Control plus. Okay. So yeah, we stop somewhere here. Let me create this out. I toggle this, edit, comment it out. Toggle block comment. Yeah, everything is gone. So we are required to create a variable called my string. So we declare with the var keyword. We use the camel case for it. My string equals, since it's a string, we put it in, we close everything in double quotes. And what was the word again? Let me check the word one. I have to close this one. Okay. So I'm really hungry for some. That's what we put in there. Go back here. So my string equals oops, that. really hungry for some. Don't worry about the phrase. We're getting somewhere with it. It makes sense in a date. So we've done the first part. We declared a variable called myString, and we stored a string inside the variable, and that's the string. So each time we call this particular value, it gives us that literal we kept inside it. So use the console to print out the string. Oh, we're going to print. All right. So never mind. We come back here. I terminate this with a semicolon. Then we want to print. To print in JavaScript, we use the console.log. Console.log log myString. Terminate that with a semicolon. Okay. All right. Let's test this. It's good to do codes incrementally. Don't do a lot. If it's simple code, you are trying to test something, right? Sometimes if you change a lot of things at a time and you're having error, you might take time, but for things that you can do incrementally, you do that, you test it out, it works. Oh, this works fine, you go to the next stage. For purpose of instruction, we'll just go ahead and this is our page before. Remember how to open this page. You come here, I'll do it all over again. Let me assume I'm back here now. I say file. I want to go and open that. I know where I stored it. You should know where your files are, right? So I want to open a file. And yeah, there it is. So it took me here, and that's the file I'm looking for, selection.html. Okay. Yeah, we are looking at just the page. We want to access the console, so I can right-click. I right-click anywhere and select inspect. It takes you to elements. That's not where I want to be. I want to go to console. So you go to console. And here we are. Okay. I'm really hungry for some. You know why this came here? Because we did console.log. Whenever you do console.log, it takes whatever it is to the screen. So it's already rendered here. That first part went well. Let's look at the instruction again. It says, now make a new variable called myUpperString. Then use a string method to capitalize all the text in the first string, and then print out the capitalized string to the console. Okay. So we're going to make a new variable called myUpperString. Let's do that first. Come back to our code editor. I make a new variable. I think it's myUpperString. Then equals. We are giving it, we say myUpperString has to be myString. Okay. MyString dot to upper. Now, this is one interesting thing about code editor. When you hit a dot, you want to access a method, it will show you all the methods available to that object. Now, different objects have different methods depending on what they are, right? So for string can do to upper. But if it's a number cannot be converted to upper. So you won't see that method there. So it exists already. So I just choose that to uppercase and close the function there. So the next, put my semicolon, miss that. Yeah. Then the next thing is console.log. We are logging my UpperString. Now it appears here because it's a variable. So we could choose it. That's another, it helps you know if you're typing your variable, I didn't show up here, you might think that you made a mistake somewhere. So you take a look again. As long as you declare that variable, once you want to type it, it throws it up for you as a hint. I know it. Oops. Yeah, I'll select that. Okay, save that, right? So yeah, looks good. Let's go back and look at our console. For that, we refresh. Yeah. So first time we have I'm really hungry, normal, regular sentence case. And now we have I'm really hungry for some, capital letter. So that's how the attribute was changed using the to upper method. So when you go to practice there, try out as many as possible. So 1 minute, please. Keep switching. Okay. So make a new variable called myString and do that, and then print out all this. We've done that. So it's quite easy, quite simple. You try it out after the class, try it out on your own and see how it goes. Again, I will upload, each time I finish class, I'll upload this into GitHub. All you have to do, if you have forked this repo, just say git pull. You go to that repo and do a git pull. When you do a git pull, it will bring all the new contents that you don't have down into your repo and you can access them. Yeah. Okay. So let's take another one. Make an array called foods and put 4 foods in, didn't complete that set. Well, put 4 food into the array. I think that's what I want to say there. So let's go and make an array that will contain 4 foods. We get back to our console, our code editor rather. So I'm making variable var foods because remember how to declare array, square bracket. And since there are strings, we have to put them in quotes. So what food do we put there? Yes, do the regular one. Eba is a common one in Nigeria. So I say Eba, yeah. Eba, comma. What's our local food? Yam is common here. So we select yam. Beans, yam and beans, yeah. That's a common combination. Beans. And for what else do we have? Yam, beans, plantain. Good. So we have plantain. I close that in. Terminate it with a semicolon. It's a JavaScript is forgiving for semicolon, but if you're going to be a programmer, you have to pay attention to details. That's one quality. And that's why I say always type things out. Don't copy and paste. You'll be looking at it, it's fine, but use your finger to type those things out. It's part of the learning process, part of becoming a good programmer. You pay attention to details. So program like C, if you omit that one, it will not run. Throw error, you bet. JavaScript, could run, but that's not the standard. You put that semicolon to terminate all your statements. Okay. The second part of it. Oh boy. I should just close this. Keep clicking on it. All right. So then use string literal syntax to print out a sentence that prints to the console my string, okay, which I declared earlier, followed by a space, and then the first element of the food array. This is interesting. So we've not done string literal, but I'll just tell you what it is. Let's go to the console. It's easier to learn from there. So just take a look at this. Okay, sorry, what was the question again? Okay, use string literal to print out the sentence that prints to the console, my string, which is declared by, okay, we should just print to the console, that's it. Okay. So get back here. Console.log, that's how you print to the console. Now, what are we logging? We want to log, we want to say use string literal. Normally, That's what we call the backtick. It's different from, we have apostrophe, that one, not that. We have the double quotes, which is this. We also have the single quotes, which is that. You could see, let me separate them by a comma, just so you follow. So we have the single quotes, all right? Then we have what we call the backtick. Look at it. On my keyboard is by my the topmost left key, where you have this key. The same, yeah, they are together on my own keyboard. So it's called a backtick. It's not the single quote, it's the backtick. So when you want to use string literals, you have to enclose whatever it is in a backtick. Okay. So I just did it to show we have a double quote, we have the single quote, then we have the backtick. So we're using the backtick for making string literals. And don't worry, you understand what that means in a bit. So I put my backtick. If you are using this, once you put the first one, it closes for you automatically, right? So what do we have? It told us to print my string. So here is the string literal. Inside here, we use curly braces and put my string. But because we want the value of this my string, we put this $sign in front of it. So my string, and we print any of the food, right? So I'll also do not backtick now, put also for this foods. But food is an array. So my string is just a string. We know what it is. I am hungry for some. That's what it is, right? But food is an array. So we want to access, the question says access one of the elements. Let me confirm that again. It says, use string literal to print out a sentence that prints to the console my string, which was declared earlier, yeah, followed by a space, and then the first element of the food array. Okay, we are printing the first element. So I come back here. So food. Remember, if you want to access an element, you use a square bracket for that inside the food. The first element, remember, is index 0. Index 0 gives you the first element. So in this case, we want 0. Okay? Index 0, yeah. And again, we put a $sign in front of that. So yeah, console.log my string space, they said it's space. If I remove this space, they will print together. You won't see, we'll try it later, but for now, let's do what we should do. So that's it. Is that all? Let me confirm that. And then the first element of the food array. So that's all. Let's go ahead and run this. I think we are fine. So I saved that. All right. We go to our browser here, and I refresh this. Oh, something's not right. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, I didn't use, we have double quotes there, not string. I thought I put a string. So remember, when you have a double quote, that thing is a string. So it did what we said we should do. We said, print all this string out, and that's what came out here, right? Blah, 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 blah. But we're supposed to use backtick. So I go back to putting backtick. I remove this other one here. Backtick. And you can see immediately the color change, telling us here we are right. Before it was looking like a string. Look at this string here. Eba, yam, B. See the color. But the moment we put the backtick, it recognizes this thing as a string literal. So this is what we call a string literal. It's an easy way of calling up. So you might have so many variables. You want to use a variable somewhere, right? You just call that variable name using this string literal. and it shows up there. I think we'll be good now. Let's run again. Control S. I save that and go back here and refresh. Yeah. So you see what happened? I'm really hungry for some eba. So I'm really hungry. The first string, there's a space, and then we have eba because eba is the first. Let's look at the. Yeah, here is my food, variable food. Eba is the first one. So it prints out what we wanted it to do. Yeah. Okay. So we've just seen how you see how we use. Let me remove this space here. You see, one good thing with when you're using this backtick, you can play around so many things. Anything you do within there will be the format will be preserved. So if I remove this space here, for example, Control S, I save that, and we come back and run this. Okay. Okay. With the space before, let me see, 1 minute. With the space before, 1, 2, 3. I put 3 spaces there. Control S, save that, and refresh this. Oh, so with this, yeah, we added 3 spaces and they all were preserved there. You know, when we remove the space, I think by default, it does give you a 1 space, but you can use it for formatting. You know, you can, you know, align things here and there, and it comes out fine when you print it. So that's about the backtick. Sorry, about the string literal. Okay. Now, we are trying, what we're interested here is to loop. So what we did, we only got 1, okay? Now let's modify this program so that it will loop through all the entries, okay? And now print out each of those. So because I'm hungry for eba, I'm hungry for that. So that's the looping. Okay, let's go back to the code and see how we can loop it. So it started from here where we have the var start, okay? So I could say, no, just for the printing, the part where we do the printing, that's what we want to loop. So here we could say we give the condition I, we did loop yesterday, I equals 0 to I. Yeah, we can use for each actually, but let's go ahead first. Now, we knew that this has element of, it has 4 elements, but assume we don't know. We can call a method, and that method is food.length. So it gives you the length of whatever it is. So from I equals 0 to I less than food.length, semicolon, then we increase I plus plus. So for this, console.log, rather than have 0, let's not, rather than hard code the index, we'll now use I here. Let's look at the code, see what happens. We're saying for I from 0 to I less than the food.length. So if we come the first time, I is 0, if you come here and put 0. So if we put food 0, which is eba, it comes the second time, because of this counter here, this I plus plus, we increase I by 1. So I becomes 1, right? So inside here, food 1 becomes the next food. It continues like that until I becomes 3. After 3, it hits 4. But 4 is not equal, is not less than the food length, which is 4. So if we stop, it will only print 3. And remember, arrays are 0 index. So we are looking 0, 1, 2, 3, which are 4 elements actually. So having I less than food.length gives us up to 3, which is 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, let's see what happens when we print this out. Okay. Okay, Control S. I save that. Let's go back to our window and refresh that. Okay, look at that. I'm really hungry for some eba. I'm really hungry for some yam. I'm really hungry for some beans. I'm really hungry for some plantain. So that's loop. We use the loop to iterate through, we don't even know how the number. We just say length dot the variable, the object dot length, and it picks up whatever length it is for us, and that's it. Let me remove this. We have so many spaces here, so I can remove some of these spaces here. And doing that, we have okay. Remove some of the space here. Okay. Save that. Run that again. Okay. Looks better now. So that's it. We saw one interesting character, dot length. What does dot length actually do? It counts what you have there. And it's quite simple to implement, really. Yeah. Let me archive this. Oops. Okay, so I want to comment this out. We go to AD. Just a shortcut for that. A Mac is 3 keys. I'll just come and click here. Lock. There we go. So, yeah. So, dot length. Let's look at this length thing. No, return food. Let's use food for. Okay, could we just state it here again? I've typed it out before, so I can just bring it down here. So we have our variable foods. Okay, good. Now let's see. We can use the while loop. So while foods, I need a counter. So let's say, because we want to iterate, let's say that I variable I equals 0, for example. So why food I? Food I means in the first place, food 0, right? So why food I do what? We increment, probably. Yeah. So why this happen, we write our block of code, I++. Now, remember what we say. The while loop or the for loop, they all try to evaluate. So the while loop, forever, if it's true, it will keep running. When it becomes false, it will stop. Same thing with for loop. Remember when we say from this to that, it compares. If it's true, it will keep running. Once it's false, it stops running. So this is saying, why food I? So food I means it exists, right? So it's 1. And since it's 1, it will keep running. Now, when it doesn't exist, it becomes 0, which is false. It will stop. And we keep increasing the counter. Each time it runs, increase the counter, just so I will know how many elements are here. So at the end of the day, we could console.log. We could console.log console.log. I put a string here. The length of okay, let's use our string literal to make it interesting. No need, no, this fine. The length of foods is I put I here. Now, I didn't put I in quotes because it's a variable. We declared it already. I is a variable, so we can just call it up. I hope this works. Let's see. I saved that, and let's try it out. It works. So the length of food is 4. So when you say dot length, whenever you say something dot length, you are accessing that length property. So this is a simple implementation of the length, right? So you can write your own code. Look at it again. Just 2 lines. What does it do? While food, while true, count. So we just keep increasing the counter. At the end of the day, I return whatever I counted for us. So initially it was 0. So when it went the first time, it made it 1. We made the second time, made it 2, blah, blah, and at the end we have 4. So if I should increase this to, let's add numbers, for example, 1, 2, 4, 6, for example, and I save this, Control S, and we run this code again. Refresh that page. It's now 8. Let's see. Not you again. This. Calm down. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've implemented length. So I've not tried to look how they did the implementation of length here, but I'm sure it's something in that range can give you what length, just 2 lines of code. Okay. I think that's it for concluding part of what we had yesterday. Let's jump into functions. I still have one exercise here. Okay, let's take this. So modify the script so that if the index of the food is an even number, convert it to uppercase. Otherwise, do not convert. Okay, this sounds interesting. So let's do that. So it will loop through it. If the index is even, like 0, 2, 4, just like that, if it's even, convert that to uppercase, okay? Then if it's not even, leave it. Okay, let's combine everything we've learned into one single code. So I'll grade this last one out. We just did a while loop there. Comment this out, select, edit, toggle block comment. So we want to uncomment this other one we've been working with. We started from here. The one that has to do with food. Where did it end? Yeah. So I uncomment this. The toggle. I didn't get everything, did I? No. Control Z, undo whatever we did. Control Z, undo that. I think I didn't select everything. Anyway, we could just remove, I know what happened. Here is it. We'll remove this one here and remove the beginning part, which is this one. Yeah, that solves our problem. Because commenting block code just means putting this and that. Put back. Okay. So it has automatically sent it back to what it was. Now we have this variable here. We need to do some other thing. And modify the script so that if the index of the food is an even number, convert it to uppercase. All right. So we come back here. Okay, here is our for loop. Something's not right with this now. It's okay though. I didn't put. Let's yeah. Okay, so for this, we want to run an if statement somewhere. So we want to say if, oh, let me say something. How do you know that a number is even? In computer science, it's very simple. There's this thing we call the modulus operator. Look at it, this percent sign. It's called the modulus operator. Whenever you divide any number by 2, all right, the modulus gives you the remainder of whatever it is. So if you divide any number by 2, if the remainder is 0, that number is even. For example, 0 divided by 2 is 0. It's assumed to be even. 2 divided by 2, sorry, 0 divided by 2, the remainder is 0, nothing remains. Now 2 divided by 2 gives you 1, remainder 0. Now 4 divided by 2 gives you 2, remainder 0, right? 6 divided by 2 gives you 3, remainder 0. So whenever you divide a number by 0 and you get remainder of 0, that number is even. So that's how you know a number is even. And that's what we're going to use. It told us to use the modulus operator anyway. And so that's the modulus operator. We'll go apply it here. So come back here. Okay, so if food I, yeah, for I equals to this, yeah. So if food I, the modulus of that when divided by 2, if it's equal to, I'm using triple equals to just to be sure. If this is equal to 0, then console.log. Yeah, let's do that if it's that. If that is empty. Okay, so if this is equal to that, console.log, what are we logging? Even or okay, food I, yes. Console.log food I. Else means it's not. And if it's else, we do, but we don't log anything. Yes. So we don't log anything, do we? 1 minute. Okay, modify it so that if the index is even number, convert it to uppercase. Oh, otherwise, don't convert. Sorry, we are converting to uppercase. That's the, so we are logging everything, but we are converting to uppercase. So come back here. In that case, this foot I, assuming it's even, we have to do dot to uppercase. Remember that? not our friend. Yes. So else console.log. We are still logging. Okay, I'll just type it at console.log backtick. Remember the backtick, and we have my string. My string space $. Oops. Right. Yeah. This is backtick, not. So I'll correct that. This should be backtick. Yeah, it's fine now, I guess. Terminate here. Sorry about that. And terminate here. Let me close this part so we can see everything. Yeah. Okay. So we're saying we have a variable food. For that, looping all through. So if food I, when you divide it and the modulus is 0, now console.log that food back to uppercase. Else, just console.log the food. Don't convert to uppercase. Let's see what happens. Okay. We'll come back here. Selection at 105.9. 109. I have an error at line 109. Take a look. 109. Okay, have to do with the way. Oh, I see. We broke this when yeah. Okay, the script, we broke it. Yeah. Hello, am I back? Can you hear me? Let me see. Not yet. Oh, okay, you can hear me. What about my screen? Can you see my screen? Let me check that. Bring it back now. See. Just hang on a bit for my VS Code to resolve. Yeah, everything is really color path. So Control Z. Okay, let me pull up my start responding again. Reopen. So while it reopens, let's go straight into functions, what they are. So what are functions? Well, functions are reusable set of instructions. So they let you combine a group of instructions together and give them a name. So it makes things easier. So, all those processes we are going through, do this, you can get all those steps together, join them, they perform one single. So every function performs just one major thing. It brings in different instructions, group them together, and give it a single name. For example, look at what we have on the screen. We say function NITDA accepted. What does it do? It does two things. It prints to the log the console. The console.log. Congrats, you have been selected into MBS, that's NITDA Blockchain Scholarship. And that is also logs again, enroll to Bitcoin theory course at Fishwalk. I assume if you're in this live class, I assume you're already enrolled in Fishwalk because that's a major thing that we use to assess your performance for the next phase. Okay. So your performance in the Bitcoin theory has a higher, more weight because that's the main place you are looking at. You have proficiency in. You need that to be able to 1 minute, please. And when you state a function, it doesn't start acting, it doesn't start running. You have to invoke that function. That's what we saw below. When we now say NITDA accepted in the normal brackets, opening and closing. Remember what we did with is to uppercase. To uppercase, we close it with at the end of it, we put the opening and closing brace. When we invoke it, it will print these two things to the screen. All right. So here is the syntax for a function. These are the parts, everything that has to do with it. First, there is the keyword function. You must have to put that keyword. It's called function. That's what tells you, okay, this is a function. So you start with keyword function, then you give it a name. The name is what you call. When we say is to up, and then when we say dot length, how many elements are in an array, or in any array or data you have. So you give it a name, reflects what you're trying to do. If you look at this, oh, I'm trying to sum numbers. We made it shortcut. We cut them down, but most time we usually spell things out, remove ambiguity. I can say sum underscore numbers. Okay, I'm summing number, but this also works in camera case. All right. And then the function can have parameters or it might not. So we saw before, it didn't accept any parameter. Parameter is just a placeholder. If you want people to pass value into your function, then you include parameters. The ones we've done so far, we didn't pass any value to. When we did .length, we didn't pass value. Okay, it wasn't even a function. But when we call to uppercase, we didn't pass anything to it. It was a method. We just attach it to an object and it behaves the way we want it to behave. So function takes parameters. It can be one parameter, it can be zero. If it must not take parameters. So, but if it does, it might be one, it might be two, it can be multiple parameters. You have to put them there. And when it's done, you now have your braces, the opening and close. The opening brace means the function, the block now starts. This is where you are. Everything within this opening and closing braces, has to have talked about it. And then we have what we call the return. Now, return is a way to exit, it's a way to return values. So when you run a function, sometimes you might just say print. If you say console.log, it logs it to the screen. That's not a return. But when you say return, it means it passes whatever value that comes out of the whole operation you did. It can pass it to another function, you can call it up anywhere. So statement is very important. In this case, now we say variable sum equals num1 plus num2. So we're just adding the value. We say returns sum, passing data to a function. I explained that before. So function can take data, can take parameters that are passed to the function. Example here, if you look at what we have by the left, I have variable num array. And there inside num array, we have array of numbers, 1, 2, 3, up to 9. That's an array of number. And then we created a function. In this function, we call it even numbers. And it takes an array. That ARR just means a placeholder. It can be anything. At runtime, when you want to run it, you now pass what you want. So when you are making a function, you just put placeholder where people can put things. So somebody calling must not name it ARR. No, you already know that it takes only one parameter. So once you give one piece, the data type, and so many other things. In this case, it's an array. You have to make sure the data 40. We've met this already when we solved the problem for, that's when the machine actually kind of went down. So when we did that, that's when we created this function and used something similar. So I'll go ahead, go back to the console. Let's see if it's back now, and we try to implement this and see. Okay. Okay, back here. I'll just restart this. 1 minute, please. Surprise. Close. Please. Just restart that. Hopefully it works now. This is Wade. So let me open up another TextMate. This will work for us, I guess. Okay. Mm. Oh, okay. I'm seeing a function here already. I think I was doing this earlier on. So that's just what we talked about. So I guess we should just run this. Let me open up. I have it in TED.js. No, let's put it back in the web page. So I go back to our course materials. JavaScript. Oh, not here. Programming. Data blockchain. Then JavaScript. That. So I guess we should just create a new. I guess we should just create. Okay. Open that. Guys, I'm not sure what's up with my machine, but surprises, MacBook Pro, but everything, yeah, even though it's doing the transition from here and doing the YouTube studio, but nothing seems to be working anymore. So I think what I will do, I'll just upload this into the GitHub. I'll upload this slide into the GitHub. Let me just run through it without a demo. Maybe you do that as an exercise. If you have issues during the exercise, let me say this, even though today is 23rd, so some people are going for break, but we'll be coming back live again, 28, 29, 30th, we should be live. So 28, 29, 30th, we'll send the link again. We'll be live. We want to wrap up Golang. Now we're done with that, we'll now do revision on Bitcoin theory. prior to, because the course ends on first. So if you have anything you haven't finished up, you'll be able to wrap that up by then and continue with the second phase, hopefully. Okay. Okay. So a function can return data after performing whatever operation it wants to execute. Okay, I've mentioned that already. So what we have here, have functions, sum num, it takes num1 and num2, it adds them together and returns something. See how you call a function? By stating the name, you see? Sum num, we're passing two values. Why are we passing two values? Because we said this value has to take two, this function will take two parameters. And here we say parameter is 5 and 7. And we know we didn't put A and B, all right? Even though if you put A and B, if you concatenate it anyway, because it will do string concat, if we do A, B together and call them a string anyway. But you have to know what data type you're supposed to pass into a function. So this is literally how you call a function. When you put this number will return 12. And you can actually pass it into a variable. I think, we're supposed to do this. So there's no point. These are things we have to do practically, you know, and let me check one more time, see if my system is responding now. No. Guys, I'm sorry, we have to call it quit today. I'll upload the entire slide into GitHub as soon as this issue got resolved. And you can do a Git pull. We've done all the basic thing. In the last, let me call up this page. In the last page, I put in some study material you're supposed to go through. The links, let me go straight to that point. Here is it. So I have links on operator, on loop, and on function. One of your peers, I think Zainab, yeah, she mentioned this last link to me. I checked it out and it was quite interesting. So the last link here is a GitHub. It's a Microsoft GitHub page, and they have something on JavaScript basics. So please click this link. If you go through trying to do here, you should also grab all of them. So this is important. This last link here, please visit it. And when you are done with it, you understand every other thing in the remaining slide. It's only function part, and we've described what a function is. What we haven't done is, you know, practicalize it, but you can follow the codes I have there. Everything has been tested, they all work. So other than that, we'll call it quit for today, and we resume the 8th. So 28, we are live, 28, 20, assign up. It is course time, right? So let's sign up and finish up just so they will be able to progress into the other phase. Some people have been asking questions about the assessment. In Fishwalk, the way they set it up is that assessment is locked. They locked it, you know, just so people don't just come and jump into the assessment and do and go. They want you to go through that. So 5 days to the end of the course, assessment will be unlocked. So from 26, 27, go back and check. Your assessment should be up. If it's up, you complete them. And of course, we are live. We are back again on the 28th, right? So 28, 29, 30, we'll be broadcasting again for those 3 days, just to help you guys wrap things up and get ready for the next phase. So thank you.